Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum.
Hey guys, welcome to the other side of modern things. I did not cry in the end. Just if you were wondering, just letting you guys know. So let's begin. It might have seemed strange in the 90s to have this comedy about the Holocaust, and done the right way. So let's talk about Italia's own Life is Beautiful. There were just so many ways this could have gotten so wrong, but as most of you know, Life is Beautiful turned out to be the most beloved Holocaust movie for its tragic comedy that brought many to tear up for its charming aspect. This film stars with Roberto Benigini, who wrote, directed, and acted in the movie, and grabbed some golds in the Oscars as Best Foreign Movie, Best Original Music, and Best Actor, competing with Tom Hanks for his role in Saving Private Ryan and Edward Norton for his role in American History X. Whether you thought this was undeserving, we can all agree that, for most people, this is on their top 10 when they think of a Holocaust movie. But after all this time, does it still hold up as this sweet, adorable movie? Well, let's look into it. The film is about a Jewish Italian named Guido during World War II who falls in love with a teacher and, for lack of better words, he stalks her to the point she finds him adorable and insists on their first date that she loves her. And just to make it more creepy, he just tells her right away he wants to bang her all the time.
Dude, that is Borat's on your crossing!
Look, there is a woman in a car. Can we follow her and maybe make a sexy time with her?
Anyways, they marry and have a son of their own until they're all taken away to the Nazi concentration camps. During at that time, Guido being a father, he tries to save his own son by making him believe that they're all playing a game which his son is winning, and keeps making up stuff whenever something bad happens so it may seem that it's all fun and games in the eyes of his son. I can only describe this movie as the opposite of a Disney princess story. Instead of showing how happily ever after the couple live, they just throw a huge middle finger at little girls by showing how not happily it was afterwards. There's no point to compare it to what was based on because it has absolutely none of that, except the dark humor. This was mostly a fable with fictional characters with a simple story, which some might have found it a bad taste to depict the Holocaust very lightly and not its true horrific nature, but we'll get to that later. Now, as much as I enjoyed the movie as most of you did, it had a few problems. Oh, no. Wait!
You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck!
And there goes my subscribers.
Eat horseshit!
It's clearly not a perfect movie, mostly for the first half being a recycled, cliche story that we've seen countless of times. It's the humble peasant with a heart of gold, he falls for a woman of high class, she's marrying a rich man who's a jerk who she doesn't love. You know where this goes. They meet and realize they're meant for one another, he gets into trouble, she defies high society standards, and they end up being together. As much as it's been done a million times by Disney, I don't mind it as much because Guido is charming. You just smile every time you see him for how full of energy, life, and likability he has, and how he ingeniously comes up with these imaginative comedy sticks. The humor he brings is kind of old school, but very entertaining with the slapsticks and with his performance. He's like the Italian Charlie Chaplin, or Cantinflas from Mexico, or you can just tell he's just a nice guy, always smiling, always playful with others, well except when he's a stalker. The rest of the cast, we're fine, but the last half, oh boy, now that's where everyone loses it. This is where people either love the movie or they don't. And yeah, it's very uncomfortable when laughing at the jokes and more when other lives are put at risk. Personally, I don't think it went too far. It had enough grimness to make me appreciate a lot more the first half when it was cute and charming. Now, this is not the darkest when it comes to the Holocaust. You don't see anyone get killed at front, and there aren't that many graphic scenes, but it's just depressing when you have a likable character like this being thrown into the worst case of scenarios. It's like if watching Bugs Bunny, who you grew up with, who made you laugh for so many years, all of a sudden get killed off in such a violent way. But the reason I don't see the comedy in such a bad taste is because even for a simple story like this, it's smart. It knows this was a tragic event and doesn't hide the fact or sugarcoat it. It lets you know this is serious when the father stops making jokes because he knows what this means. But the humor is brought back not so the audience can feel safe, but so his son can feel safe. Now when you think about it, the lie is not that offensive since it's not for us or anyone in the camp to believe it, but for his son. But even he suspects there's something wrong. But just the way it was executed and the reason behind the father going along with it, it's just sweet. Yeah, this movie made me say sweet. And it's not like the comedy is there to be mindless and nonsense, it has a reason to be there. While in the first half the character uses humor to get the girl, in the last half he uses it to protect his son by making him believe that it's all fun and games, so in that way he can feel secure. Maybe some might view this as a problem since it doesn't reflect how people would normally react, especially to a very touchy subject like the Holocaust. But here, it doesn't have to, because this story is a fable and it plays it smart, showing the amount of kindness that people can have to do good and to save that one person they love the most. And what brought so many to tears is how a father who makes the sacrifice to at least make his own son come out alive, and if he does, not to be affected or traumatized for the horrors that happened there, since we barely saw any horrific images inside of those camps. To come out emotionally unharmed, not being destroyed for what happened there, and still being able to live up his childhood as a happy boy and adult. In a real situation like this, many parents would see childhood as pointless if placed in that position, and be straightforward to their kids, telling them they have to man up if they want to survive. And here it's the opposite, showing the beauty of guarding the innocence of someone else who hasn't experienced life yet, not to hide the fact that there's evil in the world, but to show there is still good inside of it. That even in the worst case of scenarios, the sacrifice we choose to make be worth it in the end. So does it still hold up to this date? In some aspects. Some of the cliches are outdated, the story and the characters seem like they were made up for a younger audience, but if you're looking for a Holocaust movie that isn't as heavy with the violence, it might tear you up a little bit, this could probably be a pick. It's bright, it's charming, the comedy is entertainingly imaginary. Whether you like the first half more than the last half, or you like the last half more than the first half, this is a story that might make you see life more beautiful. But I'm gonna be fair, I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10 stars. So what do you thought on the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You can comment down below and give your own personal thoughts on why or why not. Well guys, tune in next time for more reviews to come. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao.